help you out, answer your questions, and all that good stuff. Hope everybody's having an amazing Monday. Welcome, Nana. First person to join us. That's amazing. I'm looking forward to seeing the first question that we get for immigration. Let's see here. You can bear with me. Well, there's lots going on with the immigration, and something that's been on my mind this morning and I wanted to share with you is that there is a big split right now between the negative immigration news that you see all the time and also the amazing processing times that we're seeing in our office. We're getting cases approved, certain cases approved, like marriage-based green cards, petitions for parents by adult U.S. citizen children. We're getting those sorts of cases approved in just a matter of months. 4 or 5 months, those cases are getting approved. And so, I'm not going to credit Donald Trump for increasing the processing times, because I think my own view about what's happening and why the cases are being processed so quickly is that everybody is just freaked out right now and scared, and therefore, hey, Jimmy, good to see you as well. Everybody's freaked out and not applying. So the system has capacity to process more cases. So what does that mean for you? That means if you have an immigration case, now might be the best time ever to file that application. And when I make these comments, when I make this point in other content, people are like, oh yeah, you're an immigration lawyer, you're just trying to sell us legal services, blah, 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 blah. And that's completely false. I'm an immigration lawyer, and I want to help you reach your immigration goals, but I'm not recommending that you apply just because I want to file more cases. These things are working. Stiley has a heart, and I will answer her question. When will the oath taking for passports be opened? When will the oath? So if you're approved for naturalization, you have to complete an oath ceremony in order to become a U.S. citizen. This is the way it works. You become a U.S. citizen, and in order to get an oath, you have to do that. And thank you for liking this, by the way. Usually here in Los Angeles, the oath ceremonies are conducted right after the naturalization interview. So you go to your naturalization interview, and then after that, boom, you get the next thing. You get it done. In other places, it's scheduled for a month or two out. Ziam Sabri says, I'm an asylee. My beneficiary I-730 waiting for the interview 1 year. What can I do? So Ziam Sabri, are you listening? Because I'm going to answer your question, and I don't think you're going to like my answer, and I don't like my answer, and I'm going to tell you the truth, but this is the way it is. So the I-730 is not going to be approved, and that is because Donald Trump has an executive order that forbids the processing of refugee cases. And that's been interpreted to mean that the I-730 cannot be processed. You can file an I-730. You can get your I-730 visa petition approved, but the beneficiary will not be able to come to the United States. They will not process this. It will be on hold indefinitely. And that is the way it is. So I'm sorry. So what can you do about that? Well, you can become a U.S. citizen and file an I-130. And we have Randall Silva. He says, thanks, Josh. My wife, Vivian, just became a citizen last week. Oh, yeah. You helped get her to Hawaii 4 years ago. Mahalo again, Randall and Vivian Silva. That is awesome. I remember you well. I remember leaving a voicemail for you and hearing your voice and hearing the mahalo. I love Hawaii. Who doesn't like Hawaii? I mean, it's the most beautiful place in the world. It's incredible. Hawaii is magical. Here's a question. ZM Sabri, listen, don't get discouraged. Get your citizenship. File an I-130. Bring her here. Or know that as soon as the administration leaves office, those cases can go forward. So that may be January of 2029. Just getting a little more caffeine in my system. What is 221G? What does 221G mean? 221G means that you completed your visa interview. Okay? You showed up, you answered their questions, you brought the documents, you did what you were supposed to do. The government, the consulate, however, has not reached a final decision. They have not denied you. They have not approved you. They have put your case on hold. And so 221G is the section of the law that they call this. It's also known by the word refused. And then the final term is administrative processing. 221G, administrative processing, and refused all mean the same thing. They mean that you did your visa interview and you're on hold. So now that I've explained that, what can you do about it? That's the more important question. There are two ways out of 221G. One is you can wait it out. And if you wait and wait and wait and wait, then eventually at some point, someday, they're going to give you the visa that you deserve. So you can do that. The second thing you can do is you can file a writ of mandamus lawsuit. You can actually sue the consulates. And this is what I recommend that you do. And this is what my firm does. And this is how we help people like Randall Silva's wife, Vivian. That's how we helped her become a U.S. citizen. I mean, get her visa 4 years ago. And that's how we help people today. So if your case is stuck after 6 months or 8 months, then you can become a citizen. I mean, then you can file a mandamus lawsuit. Melly, thank you for following. Barbara's here. Mo from Afghanistan, still waiting for an interview. Ina Dis, can I ask a question, sir? You just did ask a question. Ask more questions. Bellissima, 86. Hello. Nika, 2020. Josh, hi. All right. Let's see some more questions. These are good questions. Owas Salim, hi. If a student who finished her master's in computer science from the U.S. 2 years ago and is currently on OPT, if we change her status from OPT to H-1B, she has to pay $100,000. She's working for a nonprofit organization which is exempt. So my office doesn't handle H-1B visas right now. So I'm not going to be able to answer your question. Carrie, I filed for DACA right before the second injunction. Can we speak on what's likely to happen? Yes. So, Carrie, do you live in Texas? That's my first question. Carrie, if you're there, please let me know. And if you live in Texas, I need to know. So you don't live in Texas. Therefore, your DACA application, your initial DACA application that's been on hold, should be processed and should be approved if you meet the requirements. And therefore, you should be able to get a work permit. You should be able to get deferred action, which is protection from deportation. This is all good, so good. Carnivore Police, good morning, Mr. Josh. Thank you for everything you do, and God bless. Carnivore Police, our friend on YouTube. By the way, I am live on YouTube. I'm live on X or Twitter. I'm live on LinkedIn, Facebook. I'm live on TikTok. I'm not live on Instagram because my phone ran out of juice. Let's see if it's not yet. I have another phone for that. But Gig Nicola Blue, immigration lawyer. Yes, I am an immigration lawyer. I'm licensed in Massachusetts, California, New York, Oregon, Washington, and hopefully Ohio and Maine soon. I have applications pending in those states. Nat Gomez, any successful case for adjustment of status, having a dismissed DV case, absolutely, you can get approved with a dismissed DV case. If it was against your wife or your husband and you're applying, then that requires careful preparation. They're going to have a lot of sharp questions. Just because it's dismissed doesn't mean it's gone, and so you need a lawyer up at this point. Ephraim, hey Josh, I have a permanent resident card. Can I apply for citizenship with everything that's going on? Absolutely, you can apply for citizenship as long as you meet the requirements. Don't be discouraged. Don't be scared, and lawyer up. Here's Fereshta Ramati. Can you change your embassy after the interview? Yes, you can. The question is, should you do that? And that's a more complicated question. And I think changing consulates, sometimes it's a solution that my clients really like. They're like, okay, let's change to a different consulate. And sometimes, and I'm a little skeptical of it because I feel like it's sort of like when you're in traffic and you're in a lane and it's going very slowly, and so you look over and you see the traffic moving, and then you switch to that lane, but then it ends up not really working out so much. What's the difference between the 3-year rule and 5-year rule for citizenship? This is Parmjit Sangda. So the general rule is that you can apply for naturalization to become a U.S. citizen after 4 years, 9 months, and 1 day after you got a green card. That's 5 years. You can apply after 2 years, 9 months, and 1 day, or 3 years, if you meet certain conditions. And those conditions are, first of all, you're married to a U.S. citizen and you live continuously with your U.S. citizen spouse. And that cohabitation continues throughout the process and until you become naturalized. If, for example, you stop living with that person, then you should not try and do the 3-year nats. I don't think that's a good idea. What happens if I miss my immigration interview? You got to I don't know what kind of immigration interview it is, but I would say you should contact USCIS and try to get that rescheduled right away. And it's one of those things you really don't want to miss. Amy Gilly, welcome, our friend on YouTube. If a family comes on vacation visa, but does leave, but wants to stay, how do you go about? So I think what that question means is if a family comes on a visitor visa and does not want to leave the U.S. and wants to stay here, how do they go about staying? And that is a big question. And the answer is, how can they become permanent residents or citizens? It's basically the entire immigration system presents options for this family. It could be asylum. It could be a work visa. It could be employment-based immigration, family-based, DV lottery. Who knows how they could get themselves sorted out. I would need to know a lot more about their status. Janelle Ramos, my I-360 was approved. I'm ready to adjust my status, but they reopened my asylum application. Janelle, it's time to lawyer up. It's time to get that sorted out. You have an approved I-360. You don't need asylum. You got an approved I-360. So you're good to go. We can help you get a green card that way. But I think you need to get a lawyer. And I am a lawyer. And I can help you anywhere you are. We take on cases throughout the United States, all 50 states, and around the world. I had someone hire me recently who lived in Sudan. We have people who hired us in Peru, all over the place, but only with U.S. immigration matters. Sometimes people ask me questions about family law, DUIs, how to get citizenship in Spain. I don't know anything about that stuff. I have enough trouble keeping up with U.S. immigration law. Gabar Governo, I am has green. Janeth, cons about dual citizenship. Dual citizenship is fine in the United States. The dual citizenship is fine. The United States allows dual citizenship, no problem. Japan doesn't. Germany has gotten more liberal on this point, but you have to check it out. I only know about the laws in the United States. I only know about immigration laws. I know what I know, and I don't know everything else. How profound is that, right? Jose Diaz, DACA recipient here, applying for my AOS. Will I be able to use my AID during the process? Yes, and let me give you one more piece of advice. This is for Jose Diaz. If you're applying for a green card through adjustment of status and you have an EAD through DACA, why not apply for a new EAD? Because you can get that through adjustment of status. It might be justified, it might be cost justified. And by the way, if you're enjoying this live, and I hope you are, and you find it helpful, please like this, please share this. The algorithm and the social media gods will shine favorable light on me if you do that. Shahid Zaman Khan, Pakistan's dangerous weapon on the swash court, blew Peter Nickel right off the court, and he's on here. A kind man indeed, very generous. What's the difference between a DACA EAD and an AOS EAD? There's no difference whatsoever. All I'm suggesting is if you're going to file, one, I just realized something. My phone number is not here, and I can't. Let's see here. Someone just asked me what my phone number was. There we go. I didn't have that up. Okay, now that's better. Ha ha ha. Now you know my phone number. It's right above my head if you're on TikTok. I'm sorry, if you're on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, or X or Twitter. If you are on TikTok and you want to get in touch with me, you want to book an appointment, you can go to the link in my bio and you can book a free consultation with me and my team. Sometimes we charge $150 depending on the complexity of what you need help with. But for the most part, it's free. And there's never been a better time to get expert legal advice when it comes to immigration, right? When are they going to allow EAD to CDL again? This is a news story that's going to be a lot of litigation about that for sure. My 18-year-old sister's visa was denied. My mom has a green card, Somali passport holder. Any advice? Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Your mom has a green card. Well, if your mother has a green card, why not have your mother apply for your sister? And maybe your mother could naturalize, and maybe that could happen before your sister turns 21, and then she could come here. Does that help? Emil, what kind of flag is that? I wonder what kind of flag. Is that the Cuban flag? Puerto Rican flag? I can't tell. I don't know. Is advanced parole okay to be used now? Generally, Togo. Generally, it is okay to travel on advanced parole. But in order for me to give you advice on whether you can travel with advanced parole, I would need to know the specific details of your case. Wisleen Lindor, hello to you, sir. Sergio P is here. Jafar Joker, Ali Good, Ephraim Emir. These are who we have here. All these friends of ours joining us. Welcome, one and all. Beyond blessed. How long after a motion reopened denial does someone get deported? It's been over a month. I have clients with final orders of deportation who've been in the United States for decades. So I don't know. It's hit or miss. Emil, our friend with the Togo flag. I'm going to dive into her question now. What can my boyfriend do to stay after his visa expired? Well, your boyfriend could marry you. If you're a U.S. citizen, you could petition to keep him in the U.S. that way. That's not a bad idea. Your boyfriend could apply for asylum if has a well-founded fear of persecution, returning to his home country. Those are a couple ideas, but there could be others depending on his particular situation. I got 2 parking tickets after I sent in my N400. Should I bring them up in my interview? I would pay the parking tickets. Make sure you have proof that you paid them, court certified proof that you paid them, and then you could mention them in the interviews. I don't think parking tickets are a real factor, to be honest. Beyond Blessed said, my husband is detained and is waiting to be deported after a denial a month ago. I'm sorry, Beyond Blessed. Let's come up with a strategy to get him back to the U.S. legally, maybe with a waiver for the asylum, for the deportation order. Here's a question. How likely would a 221G get approved after I file a mandamus lawsuit? How likely? It depends. I mean, whether you get the visa depends on if you meet the requirements. Presuming you do, you should be able to get the visa. I mean, most of our mandamus cases end successfully. Not all of them, but most of them. Beyond Bless said he's barred for 10 years. Yes and no. He is barred for 10 years with the deportation order, but you could file a waiver of that. Is this helping? Let's see here. These are good questions. Questions. What are your questions? Is it normal to see visa status showing refused? I think what freaks people out about refused is that it sounds like denied. You see your visa was refused and you think, oh no, my visa was denied. And that's not true. Refused could mean denied, but it also could mean that you went to the interview and they just didn't make a decision on your case. What do they ask at an immigration physical exam for AOS? One thing they do ask it sometimes is whether you've ever used marijuana. And you should definitely not answer that affirmatively. Because if you say, yes, I used marijuana once at a party 10 years ago and I've never smoked any marijuana since, they're going to say you're a drug addict and you can't get a green card. So don't say that. I mean, I'm not saying you should lie, but you definitely shouldn't admit to marijuana use. My lawyer said we have to prove extreme hardship. Yeah. These are good questions, all of them. Let's see here. They don't count financial or having a family as extreme hardship. I wouldn't say that's true. Let's see here. This is from Mañana Será Bonito. I like that name. I'm a U.S. citizen. However, my husband was deported and came back. Can I still help him get his green card? When you say your husband got deported and came back, he was ordered to be deported and then he came back in legally with a visa and a passport, or he snuck back into the U.S. If he snuck back into the U.S., then I don't know if he will be able to get back into the U.S. He might need a waiver, and there's no guarantee that he could get such a waiver. These are good questions, everybody. My landscaper was arrested last week by ICE and he has advanced parole. We are in Illinois. Why take him? I don't know. Advanced parole must have a pending case.